December is notorious at Disney World, the busiest month of the year with wait times I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. But that's not all of December, because actually this month features a sneakily uncrowded stretch with some of my absolute favorite days to visit, including a week that's my pick for best time to go to Disney World of the year. Hi, I'm James Grosh from Guides WDW, and if you're visiting Disney World this December or curious about planning a last-minute trip to Disney, this is the video for you. Because this is my ultimate planning guide for December at Disney World in 2025. In this series, I take years of wait time data, decades of personal experience, and the deluge of daily Disney news, and distill it all down to just what you need to know, wrapped neatly in a bow like if Santa was a Disney adult. First, I'm going to break down all the news and closures that will have an impact on crowds and your vacation, including everywhere you can find Santa and special New Year's celebrations. Then I'll share my week-by-week crowd predictions, and finally I'll reveal my December-specific advice about which are the best and worst days to visit each park, so you can come up with a proper game plan to visit the parks like a pro. So let's start with a tour around the world with the news, events, and closures that will have an impact on your vacation. At Magic Kingdom, Santa is in a new location this year, greeting guests at Storybook Circus until December 24th. I've heard that's a big day for him. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is sold out, but here's a tip. If you really want to go but don't have a ticket yet, go in person on the day of to a ticket booth. Disney sometimes has a small amount of tickets that they sell same day, but they don't really advertise it. Some people have had luck calling on the phone, but in person is your best bet. It might be a long shot, but holiday miracles do happen. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party takes place 12 nights this month, with the last being December 21st. So for the first 3 weeks of the month, Magic Kingdom will close early to regular guests for about half of the time, which has a huge impact on crowds and should be part of your planning, whether you go to the party or not, which I'll get into later in the video. But from December 22nd through the end of the year, there are no premium parties at Magic Kingdom, which means regular park hours for everyone. And during those days, you can actually see two of the biggest draws of Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party with just your regular park ticket. Disney offers the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade and Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time Fireworks as part of the regular Magic Kingdom schedule during the week of Christmas. Basically, as soon as the holiday party stops, it's part of the regular park offerings until New Year's Eve. And on the closure side, Big Thunder Mountain and Buzz Lightyear remain closed until sometime in 2026 for major refurbishments. Over at Epcot, the Festival of the Holidays is in full swing, where you can find Santa greeting guests at Communicore Hall this year, and Santa Goofy has taken over his old digs over at the Odyssey. The Festival of the Holidays features food booths, holiday storytellers, an amazing Spaceship Earth gingerbread display, and the Candlelight Processional, which features amazing narrators this month like Brie Larson, Henry Winkler, Brendan Fraser, and Susan Egan, the voice of Meg from Hercules and the godparent of Disney's newest cruise ship, the Disney Destiny. I had the incredible chance to interview Susan at the Disney Destiny christening, so be sure to check that video out. And a holiday miracle. There are no closures at Epcot this month, as Ratatouille finished its 2D conversion in mid-November. I checked it out right after it reopened, and I think removing the 3D glasses actually adds a lot to the ride. I noticed a lot more detail in the environment that I never did before. Let me know if you agree. Let's move over to Hollywood Studios, where Jollywood Nights takes place 7 nights this month, meaning that the park will close to regular guests at 7 p.m. You can meet Santa at Walt Disney Presents during regular park hours, and while there's no news on the official closing date, you might want to walk this way over to Rock 'n' Roller Coaster because the Aerosmith version of the ride is closing sometime in 2026. And my bet is pretty early on. Disney announced that the new Muppet version of the ride is opening in the summer, so it would not surprise me if Aerosmith's farewell tour ends as soon as January. So this is your final call for this version of the ride. At Animal Kingdom, Zootopia Better Zoogether is brand zoo. My quick review. I love the new animatronic. The show is cute, chaotic fun, maybe a little too chaotic at moments. I think the biggest win is that it's way friendlier for kids than It's Tough to Be a Bug. I liked it, but I wouldn't wait more than 15 to 30 minutes for it. You can also now meet Nick and Judy near the Tree of Life. Animal Kingdom has some of the most beautiful holiday offerings, like the Merry Menagerie and the Tree of Life Awakenings Holiday Edition. Santa is greeting guests over at Restaurantosaurus, and this is the last year you can see some really charming holiday decorations at what remains of DinoLand USA. That whole part of the park goes extinct in February to make way for Tropical Americas. and Cali River Rapids remains closed all month for its seasonal refurbishment. Let's go over the extended evening hours scheduled for December. That's the perk for deluxe resort guests that lets you stay in the park 2 hours after park closing. It takes place at Epcot every Monday this month and Animal Kingdom every Wednesday this month, except for New Year's Eve. At Disney Springs, you can meet Santa at the marketplace with a virtual queue, do the Christmas tree stroll scavenger hunt, and see Snowfall nightly. Across the resorts, be sure to seek out the holiday decorations, especially the gingerbread displays like this one at the Contemporary. Notably, there's no gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian, but the lobby refurbishment just finished, so you can now grab a drink at the Perch, which is the new lobby bar shaped like a Victorian birdcage. Finally, the parks have special New Year's offerings. Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios are all open until midnight or later on New Year's Eve, and you'll find special DJ dance parties across the parks. Magic Kingdom will have the special New Year's Eve Fantasy in the Sky fireworks at 7:30 p.m. and 11:50 p.m. on both December 30th and 31st. Epcot will have the Cheers to the New Year, a sparkling celebration fireworks starting at 11:54 p.m. on December 31st, and Hollywood Studios typically has a pyrotechnics countdown, but you don't have to count down to my weekly crowd forecast, which is coming up right now. And if you find anything in this video useful, get subscribed and consider supporting the channel by signing up for the Guide to WDW Patreon. So onto the crowd forecast. December actually has a very predictable crowd pattern. And as I'm about to show you, December surprisingly has a lot of great times to go for low crowds, like the first week of the month, which is typically pretty low for crowds, really only hitting the moderate range once going back to 2019. And in 2023, it had the 4th lowest wait times of the entire year. This is the start of the holiday lull. Crowds jump up around Thanksgiving and then quiet down all the way until Christmas crowds arrive. And I'm going to tell you exactly when that happens. But this week should have low to moderate crowds and features Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood Nights. The second week of December can be the busiest time of this holiday lull, but I have good news for you this year. Looking at the data, this week has ranged from very busy in 2021 to moderate in 2022 and 2023 to downright light last year in 2024. And I think we might have another light year, because this year the Pop Warner National Championship will not take place in Orlando for the first time since 1995. The event moved to North Carolina this year, and in the past it's caused a bump in crowds at Disney World. So I think this will be a sweet spot for vacations, with crowds being light to moderate and plenty of holiday offerings. Then we have week 3, and we're getting closer to Christmas. This is the last full week before the holiday. So is this when crowds spike? Actually, this is a surprisingly great week because the third week of December has had really low waits each of the last 3 years. In fact, crowds typically go down a little bit this week. It's counterintuitive because we're so close to the holidays, but it actually makes sense. So many people travel on the holidays themselves that the week before leaves the parks downright pleasant. I do think crowds will tick up a bit on the weekend of the 20th and 21st, but this would be my pick for the best week to visit, not just of December, but of the year. Because you still have the holiday parties, the weather is typically great, and the wait times are usually as low as you can get in December. All of the holiday magic with a fraction of the crowds. So if you want to plan a last-minute trip, use my link below to work with Vacationeer, the official travel agency of Guide to WDW, and they can do all the planning for you for free. Just tell them that Guide to WDW sent you. Next up, the 4th week of December, Christmas week. And crowds are through the roof. 10 out of 10 busiest crowds of the year, and it's like this every single year. And like I said before, there is no Magic Kingdom party starting this week. And then you have the final week of the year. New Year's week will see equally heavy crowds, if not even heavier. Seriously, the stretch from Christmas Eve to New Year's Day is always extremely busy. You can still have a ton of fun, but just set your expectations accordingly and rope drop like a pro. Okay, you now know the best and busiest weeks of December. Time to break down which days you should go to which parks. This is one of the most helpful tools for plotting out your vacation. Let's start at Epcot, which is very similar to last month. I'd avoid Mondays the most because of extended evening hours, the perk that makes Mondays consistently the most crowded day at Epcot. Seriously, it's like that all year. Friday and Saturday are also in avoid territory due to the festival attracting locals, but not as bad as Monday. The best days stick to the middle of the week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, with the exception of New Year's Eve, which falls on a Wednesday and usually sees a spike in crowds because of the special holiday celebrations. If you want to party all night long and ring in the new year at World Showcase, Definitely go to Epcot on that day. But if you want to avoid crowds, just keep that in mind. At Hollywood Studios, avoid Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. These have consistently been the 3 busiest days of the week the last 3 Decembers. The best days? Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, especially because Jollywood Nights takes place on Saturdays, leading to something that I call the party effect. The park closes early to regular guests those days, which means more people without a party ticket avoid that park on party days. That leads to lower wait times during the day, especially in the morning. Hitting up the studios on a Saturday in December could be a savvy move. At Animal Kingdom, one of the best days for most of the year becomes one of the worst days this month. Avoid Wednesdays due to extended evening hours. Just like at Epcot, this will cause a spike in crowds. But there isn't extended evening hours on New Year's Eve here, and Animal Kingdom is the only park that closes early that day, so it might have some reasonable crowds that day. Well, reasonable for New Year's Eve. I'd also put Friday and Saturday in the avoid category. For when to go to Animal Kingdom, I'd actually pick Monday, which has swung wildly between one of the best days to visit and one of the worst days to visit at Animal Kingdom over the last few Decembers. But Monday is consistently busy at all the other parks, making Monday a good pick for an Animal Kingdom day, since the crowds aren't quite as pronounced here. Thursdays and Sundays are also typically good for Animal Kingdom in December. And finally, at Magic Kingdom, remember the party effect for the first 3 weeks. Crowds will go down on party days during regular hours and up on non-party days. So avoid Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. The best days? Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. All ranked in the top 3 for best days at Magic Kingdom over the last 3 Decembers. But it's also important to note that starting Christmas week, crowds will be heavy at Magic Kingdom pretty much every day, especially Christmas Eve, which is a Wednesday, Christmas Day, which is a Thursday, and New Year's Eve, which is a Wednesday. But what about New Year's Day? Well, that's technically in January, so you'll have to wait to find out in next month's video that it's absolutely one of the most crowded days of the year. Sorry to keep you waiting in suspense all month long. But in the meantime, if you're visiting Disney World this holiday season, you won't want to miss the next video where I walk you through the 12 tips of Christmas at Disney World, including some expert insights coming directly from cast members. So be sure to check out that video. And if you'd like to support the channel and get ad-free videos, you can join for just $5 on Patreon at the link below. This has been James from Guide to WDW. Thanks for watching, happy holidays, and I'll see you real soon.